Today we will hear testimony on existing statutory language prohibiting taxpayer funding from paying for the taking of the lives of preborn children through abortion. There is concern that the Obama administration or a potential Clinton administration may intend to reinterpret the plain and long-standing meaning of the Hyde Amendment. We will also examine today the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act, which would protect human babies who are born alive. On this day in the year 2016, in the land of the free and the home of the brave, there are no criminal penalties in federal law for either negligently or deliberately killing born alive human babies who are living and breathing on the table after surviving an abortion. More than 7 months ago, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act with bipartisan support to protect these little children who are born alive. More than 90% of the American people support this kind of legislation. Yet we've been able to even get a vote or even a debate in the United States Senate to protect innocent, born alive babies from being deliberately subjected to cruel and torturous death. The people who came upon Kermit Gosnell's clinic in Philadelphia and discovered a horrifying scene and several dead babies, many of whom had been born alive before being murdered, were told by their supervisor that the investigation of abortion was not their business. This insidious sense had taken hold that if we're dealing with abortion in any of its aspects, we were dealing with a, quote, constitutional right, which overrode or trumped any local law that might protect the victims. Ashley Baldwin, one of Dr. Gosnell's clinic employees, said she saw babies breathing, and she described one as 2 feet long that no longer had eyes or a mouth, but in her words was making like this screeching noise, and it sounded like a little alien. The abortion industry has labored for all of these decades to convince the world that unborn children and born children should be completely separated in our minds, that while born children are persons worthy of protection, unborn children are not persons and are not worthy of protection. But those who now oppose this bill to protect born alive children suddenly have the impossible task of convincing themselves and the American people that a born alive premature baby that has survived an abortion is just a fetus that should be disposed of, and not a little human baby, not a little human child, worthy of our protection as a nation. To any compassionate human being who has not invincibly hardened his or her heart or soul, an honest consideration of this absurd inconsistency is profoundly enlightening. And I would earnestly implore in this moment, in this committee, that the majority leader of the United States Senate, and I say this in the most personal of terms, asking him to hold in some form a recorded vote on the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act in the U.S. Senate to provide criminal penalties at the federal level to prevent monsters like Kermit Gosnell from murdering innocent, born alive human babies. Now, President Obama vetoed similar legislation, President Obama voted against similar legislation 4 times before becoming president, and astonishingly now has promised in writing to veto this bill if it comes to his desk. And I'm told Mrs. Clinton holds the same position, but intends at all costs to avoid revealing that during the presidential campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not abortion. This is born alive. Born alive. The American people deserve to know where candidates for president stand on something so foundationally intrinsic to the republic founded on these core principles that all of us are created equal and are children of God. The American people still deeply hold themselves to be protected of born children. And if those seeking the highest office in the land are in opposition to a bill that would protect born alive children, then the American people have a right to know this before the most important election in this century and in the last century, on which the core right to live contained in the Constitution of the United States itself hangs in the balance. Turning our backs on helpless, born alive children is not who we are as a people, and it is not who the United States of America has become as a nation. Yet it is one of the most crucial questions now upon us in this divisive moment in history, in this decisive moment of history as well. And the implication for this country's soul and future are profound beyond words. And so I thank the witnesses for being here, and I ask this morning that all of us just open our hearts to the truth.